Well, then there's another piece I want to bring up, which I think is closer to fruition for everyone, and I'm really excited about this piece too. And speaking of things that are accurate to the film, the goggles, the night
Ah,
vision goggles from Jurassic Park. So I know we're close, right?
and they are physically in production now.
Okay.
Um, the everything is done on them. Uh, we, I think we mentioned this in another video. It's not slowing up production or anything. There's just a couple little graphics on the lenses that we were fussing with that we
Hmm.
changed 2 weeks ago. Again, all the other pieces are running. It's just as we get to the end, hey, this is what we want you to do here. And that sample is setting on my desk as we speak. It came in, Sean brought it in this morning, picked it up, and I'll crack it open this evening, and I expect it to be everything I want it to be. And that really the only thing that means to anybody who's watching this is between us and the factory, there were just a couple things we were nitpicking over, and they fixed it and showed us photographs of it, and then that's when we say, all right, send it to me so I can have it in hand and I can scrutinize it right under my nose. And that's
Hmm.
where we're at on that. So no, everything is full speed ahead on that. If you missed it, some of the interesting stuff about the goggles, people have done replicas over the years. Um, might have done a couple back in the day just for some friends. With this round, we had the luxury of scanning an original, having the scans from an original, and that was great. So some of my favorite things on this piece, how it's been realized, is, of course, so the strap, the head suspension system in it, that came out of
Hmm.
an old welder's helmet, and it's got a very particular opacity to it. It's almost milky white. You can put your finger behind it and see it. So you can't have the strap being white. It can't be gray. And then, as fate would have it, of course, it was just made so long ago. That particular strap has been retired, and
Hmm.
you could buy it all day long in black and gray, but you can't get it in that damn white. So we did tool up and remanufactured it in the right color, just so it could be right. So that was fun. The inside of the goggles, the originals, of course, they don't do anything. You can't see through them. Even the Hero pair, you can't see through. They just had a piece of material through the back of the goggle. We kind of replicated that, and it's a very specific quilted look. If even around what would be the bridge of the nose, every bit of that was just nailed. We're so happy with how that came out. The weight feels appropriate. I
Hmm.
mean, it's just it's an example of something, again, a luxury that we were able to take our time on, but time to land them, because the longer they spend over there on the line, we're at 154% tariff right now, as we've said before, and I
Right.
undoubtedly you probably have some questions on. It's to the point now, even when we send that to our retailers, like, there's just no money there, as we've said with
Right.
other things. So that's a good example of one of those items we just people who have reserved them, we're going to try and honor that price where it's
Hmm.
at. But I mean, theoretically, if tariffs were to jump another 100%, there's zero money. In fact, it would be costing us money to land them and get them. Of course, we would, because we want to protect our reputation in the community. Um,
Right.
and we don't want to ever do vaporware. So even if it's to our detriment, those damn things are coming, and
Yeah.
they're going to get done. It's just the people who are on a reserve with us right now. We've got them covered.
Yeah.
If somebody hasn't reserved them by now, you got till next Friday to lock them down. Otherwise, if the price jumps to $9.99, which it could, so be it. Better lock them down now. And
Well, yeah.
that,
Well, I mean, it's a good point you're bringing up because
yeah,
the problem is it's so hard for people to plan. It's hard for companies to plan. It's hard for collectors to plan
right.
because the tariffs are. I mean, it's a daily. You know, seems to be a daily. Whatever the administration feels to do that morning. Because that's what's happened again. We talked about it a little. The tariff jumped another 100% this
Well,
morning. Uh,
again, it's moving so fast, you don't know who and what it's affecting.
yeah.
So let's say tariffs are now at 345 for all we know. Uh,
Yeah.
you're now reaching a point where you're going to see companies, they got to press pause, and wait and try to ride the storm out. In which case, a license, the stopwatch is ticking on their license.
Hmm.
If you take your foot off the gas ever in this business, it takes so long to land this stuff, the quality stuff, right?
Yeah.
That you find yourself with no product for a year. I mean, weird stuff's about to happen. And what
Right.
happens to the retailers who just sell all of our stuff and our counterpart stuff? If everybody's pressed pause and there's nowhere to go, or like we have to say, look, we can't offer this to you where you can make any money because now our margins, it's not like we got a heads up, right? We
Mhm.
manufactured all this stuff and set our prices when we thought we were dealing with 20%. So now these are already thin margins. I mean,
Right.
the concept that when people think, oh, you're making it in China because it's cheap. We've spoken to this in
Hmm.
other videos. This perception that something like the cryo, like use our cryo cans for example. I'm sure there's people who think, oh, they've made those for $25 and they're selling them for $3.99.
Yeah.
That's just nonsense. It doesn't happen.
No.
And on something like the NVs, um, there's no money in them, but we'll honor the POs of our retailers. That's why we cut it off when we put the notice up on our socials the other day that
Hmm.
uh, hey, we're hemorrhaging enough. Stop.
Yeah.
This is what we've got to do. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes.
Yeah.
It's concerning. It's getting to the point where I don't even want to. I just want to stick my head in the sand. I mean,
Yeah.
because what do? You got to keep grinding. You keep making stuff. And as I've said a million times, when you do what we do, again, nobody wants to manufacture, in Asia for, because something's cheaper. It's just not the case. It's truly the only place where they have the skill to land what we
Well,
do.
well,
The,
that's the thing. They have the know-how and the skills, and they've been doing it for decades, and it's almost impossible to recreate that
that's
here.
right.
And even if you can recreate it here, if you could start production tomorrow, let's say, you still have all of the raw materials that are coming from outside of the country. I mean, we can't make those here. No
Right.
matter how much we wish we could or, try, those raw materials are coming from outside of the country and they are also tariffed.
That's right.
So it doesn't make any difference. But I know, like, for example, in the last days of Anovos, their dying breath, they tried to bring manufacturing from China to they had a, I don't know, some facility in McAllen, Texas, and they said they were going to manufacture the helmets there. And the decline in quality from what was coming from China to what they were manufacturing locally was just, I mean, it was horrible. People were getting their helmets and saying, why are there fingerprints in the finish on my helmet? Like, because the people here just don't know how to do it. And you can train them, but it's going to take them years to gain those skills. It's yeah, it's an almost impossible task. They were interviewing, I think, the president of Nintendo, and they were talking about the Switch, right?
Hmm.
And he said if we wanted to make those here, it would cost us $10 billion, because it's not just opening a plant and starting to manufacture. There are supply chains that we've developed over decades. There's all kinds of stuff that people don't think about. And there are going to be a lot of unforeseen consequences in this country because of this. I mean, I just read a report this morning about how the cost of fruit here is going to skyrocket,
Yeah.
because not because, I mean, it's not being imported from outside of the country, but because trucking the fruit around the United States is done in coordination with trucking other goods that come from China. So they'll, like, send the truck filled with fruit from the East Coast to the West Coast and then bring back stuff from the West Coast to the East Coast. But if there isn't that reciprocity, the shipping is going, you're not, you're shipping one way, it's going to cost you just as much, if not more,
Yeah.
and that cost is going to get passed along to the customers. So even stuff that we have here that we're not paying tariffs on is going to increase in price.
Yeah. It's terrible. And as we often say, back to the front end of the conversation, we've seen companies who do what we do. We know why they've hit rough spots or they ultimately failed.
Right.
We've avoided every bit of that. And our primary concern has always been, there's still a lot of people out there who don't know who we are or what we do. So we're like, hey, this is what we do. This is what we're making. Come check it all out. And that finding your space, as it were, within the
Hmm.
community, and letting people know you're here, man, that's hard fought. Even if
Yeah.
you've been like all of us have been in this business forever, as we've all talked about before. It's funny when we were talking about, I mean, man, even like QMX. I worked at QMX with Jason, who we were talking about earlier, long before Jared knew about him, and then I find
Hmm.
out Jared worked with him at some point over the years. And I mean, and there's actually a survivors group of how many people have worked over at QMX
Right.
over the years. So all of us know each other. We know our counterparts. It's just a flat ass scary time, and I
Yeah.
hate to think. I'm like, are you kidding me? That we could be undone by this thing beyond our control. This that has nothing to do with our capabilities or what
Yeah.
it is that we're really dialed in on. We're comfortable in what we do, and you've got this specter looming over your head. I mean, just with some of the new stuff we were talking about just before you came on. Now the question is, like we were saying, it's not like, hey, you can make this in Japan, you can make this in Mexico or Vietnam or in the US. There's simply a factory in China that this is their jam. This is what they
Right.
do. So we have to say, are we going to put this into production right now, knowing full well, I mean, shit, what's next? 500%, 1,000%? Now we're at the point where to put stuff into production, we have to just accept in the back of their mind, you know what, if this gets any worse, we're just going to have to destroy it rather than land it and refund everybody's purchase. And thank
Hmm.
God we're in a position, if we ever got to that point where we've taken any the small 10% reserve or whatever, we never spend that money. Of course, we would be
Right.
able to refund it, up front. But these are the challenges of moving forward. You take this huge leap of faith, a blind leap of faith that, okay, this is as bad as it gets, or you press pause. And
Well,
pressing simply isn't an option for us. So
unless they reverse course on all of this, which I'm not sure, you know,
well,
unless more
some,
rational heads prevail in Washington, you're looking at, I think you're going to see a lot of companies fold. You're going to see a massive change in the
yeah.
US economy, and we may be looking at the 1930s all over again. And by the way, that's the last time they tried these tariffs, this tariff nonsense. That's what we ended up with, was the
Yeah.
1930s.
It's funny you should say that. I had put a bit of a prelude into some forecasting we did with one of our partners yesterday. And I referenced, hey, we haven't seen this since the 30s. So we're trying to hit
Mhm.
a moving target with regard to what our numbers may be in the months ahead. So
Wait,
yeah, it's a weird ass time. But just so everybody knows, again, our plan is to keep doing what we're doing, take these leaps of faith. We're going to try to add a few things by way of our, incentivize our buyers by way of our collectors program, whatever it is we call that. And man, we're in it for the hard fight. But yeah, spooky times.
good, good. Well, okay. Well, not to dwell on that.
Yeah, shift
Uh,
gears. Hit me with some of the prop stuff. Listen.
okay, so obviously there's a lot of excitement. The trailer for Tron Ares dropped a couple of days ago. I know you guys have a Disney license. Tell me there's some Tron merchandise coming. You got to scratch that Tron itch for me, Rye.
Hmm. Hmm. I would say that we're really big fans of Tron, and we look forward to talking about that in the near future.
Okay.
I would say, yeah, we love Tron. We love all things Tron. I think the new Ares trailer looks fantastic. Um, uh, we will have some stuff to share about our line plan moving forward very soon. Right now, the only thing we've really talked about is our 20,000 links stuff.
Hmm.
We do have our eye on quite a few other things that are in various stages of production right now. And as we've said, it's not, man, I want to scream it from the rooftop, everything we're working on. So I know I
Yeah.
sound a little cagey. It's more so a courtesy to um,
Hmm.
our people over there. There's a very specific way how they like us to. announce what we're doing and a certain order in which we do it. But when you start thinking about these archive trips we've been taking
Hmm.
and different pieces that have been made available to us, um, we're one of the first companies in a very long time to get this level of cooperation from from Disney. We love our production development team. We love our category manager. It's one of the most fruitful relationships with any studio we've ever had. We always say them and Toho are our
Hmm.
absolute favorites, the most cooperative, really get what we're doing and what we want to do. That is a giant blabbermouth word salad way of saying I love Tron too, and
Oh
we
my
look
God.
forward to
Okay,
sharing that
so
line in the
okay,
future.
well then switching gears, you did release the newspaper from 20,000 Leagues. I don't
Those
know
are
if you
just
can.
starting. Yeah, those are
I,
shipping in the. Go ahead. I'm sorry I cut you off.
mine shipped. I'm waiting for it. It's en route.
Okay.
I think
But
it's actually leaving
it's
tomorrow.
I was
oh
going to say you must know somebody if you got it out that soon because
no, I don't know
I believe it's
anybody. I don't
next
know.
Tuesday to go out.
We printed labels, so people, the
Okay,
initial people have their tracking numbers so
I,
far.
I
So
that's
they
think
yeah.
will
I
know
got my
anything
tracking
within the
number.
next couple of days.
So
since you know a guy who knows a guy, you'll probably get yours pretty quick. But
any
yeah, you have some questions about the
any
you want to talk
plans
about it?
for a diver helmet or the gun?
The
The the spear. I think it's a spear gun. No, it's not a
the
spear
elect-
gun.
the
It looks
electro spear. The
Yes.
electro spear, yes. In fact, there's an interest page up on our website right now. No, it's not. It's not
No,
up right now.
I didn't see. I don't remember
Oh,
seeing
that's
that.
right. You know what? That's right. So here's we're on like prototype 3 of the
Hmm.
electro spear. We had it up. We had a photo up. We had everything we wanted it to be, and then me being as obsessive compulsive as I can be, just kept ferreting out Jared and I just obsessed so hard on every little thing on that we ultimately we had a lot of reference material. Again, the archives team really cooperative. Even when as far as we've gone as far as to scan a particular piece
Oh, okay.
and cobble reference from others. Um,
Because I don't
no,
know if you because well, since you have the original references, you probably don't need it. But there was a company that was producing a kit for those. Um,
there been it's got a lot of fan service over the
yeah.
years. We're the first one to actually do anything licensed
Right.
with
No, yeah, I know none of those kits
um,
were licensed, but yeah.
it's an interesting piece because when you see any of the publicity photos, you study any of the printed reference,
Hmm.
and that's where a lot of people got their stuff over the years. Um, a lot of just internet canon was set.
Hmm.
When everybody's cobbling from the same sources, some people will get really strong opinions, and if they speak loudly and emphatically enough, somehow certain things stick, and
Hmm.
some things are right, some things are just wrong. When we dug into it, really started studying it, the first thing you notice is no two pieces the same.
Hmm.
So you can look at them and you can look at the original blueprints that are online, and you could say that any number of builders captured the spirit of those blueprints. But oddly enough, that's exactly what the prop makers did. When
Hmm.
you start studying multiple pieces, you can see where they shot for a given set of numbers, a given set of dimensions. But just the way the pieces were screwed together can make for the difference of an inch and a half in its length.
Hmm.
If the barrel's too far forward, the basket at the front, if you will, as we call it, is stretched a little longer. Again, all the stuff was just handmade by
Hmm.
guys working in the sun,
Right.
just cutting metal
Well,
by
and
hand.
there's so many things, there's so much trickery that happens in film that you're unaware of. I faced this last year when I was working with somebody to do a dial of Archimedes from Dial of Destiny. And he was like, what size do you want? And I was like, what do you mean, what size do I want? He's like, well, they made two different sizes of the
Yeah,
prop in the film because I guess in some shots they were being held, like I don't know if it's Harrison Ford has small hands or something, but they had to like decrease the size so it would look the same I mean it's crazy. There's like one that's a stunt one that was larger or smaller. I can't remember, but they had two different sizes. They're like noticeably different sizes.
Yeah, and similar challenges here. So again, not lost on us. What a beloved piece this is, and a beloved
Mhm.
film. Um, so much work put into it. We really sat back and grinded on that one, and we could talk about it. The whole bit of copy of how it's made and what went into it is done and approved. We have approved images that we could share, but again, we wanted to be careful with that because as we found, we try to share as we go, right? Like just like with Kay's gun. But
Mhm.
when you get into some of these properties that have been around for decades, the fan base is passionate, and they just simply don't see where you say final piece subject to change. That their eyes do not see that.
Mhm.
And then before you know it, hey, look what Paragon's doing. They're so wrong. This sucks. The world's coming to an end. Uh, they get really passionate, and we recognize that on that piece. So while we do have prototypes we could show, we've just decided let's just button up everything, and then we'll tell the story. We'll tell the story of how we got there. But
Okay.
people should know that the archives are strong.
Mhm.
They've got tons of stuff. We're amazed, especially just after our Burbank visit, of some of the stuff we're going to be announcing that's coming of what's actually been kept. But to answer your question, sure, we've held and scanned helmet.
Mhm.
The boots were in front. We've had a
Oh
lot of
boy.
stuff in front of us,
Well,
and
look,
we've everything's been made available to us that we could ask for. So when that's done, the Electro Spear plan for it is it will be an all metal prop. It'll be CNC'd. It'll be
nice.
everything. It'll be overdone like anything else we do. And yeah, we're looking forward to that one. So that's definitely coming. And
Okay.
then the paper, as you mentioned, a lot of people don't realize um, the Earl Hayes Press. Adam's done a show with these people where they've
Mhm.
shown the original plates, if you will, that the paper is done from. Uh, Disney's been on board to approve all of our reference and where we went with
Mhm.
those. And you acquiesce to the experts. There's
Nice.
online opinions about everything, and we appreciate the community's passion. But in the end, when you've got a company who made them for the film, and they're like, here you go, and this is the paper we use,
Right.
and we're happy to make them for you. That's a pretty special thing.
Yeah.
So for
No, that's
those of you
awesome.
who don't know, the Earl Hayes Press printed our 20,000 Leagues Under the Seas Monsters Exist paper, and we're happy to be shipping those as of next week. And you can find them on our website. Those are on our website right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
that's
Thanks
awesome.
for asking
Yeah.
about those.
Well, I can understand why you're keeping images and stuff like that under wraps. I'll give you a piece of advice. When we named our children, when we had our girl and our boy, we didn't divulge the name that we
Ah,
had picked to anybody until the children were born, because I figured if you mention the name before they're born, everybody's got an opinion.
oh yeah.
No, that's not a nice name. No, you shouldn't name your child that. No, that's going to be. But once the child is named,
Oh yeah.
no one, no, everyone just accepts it.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
we're content to take our time uh,
yeah,
on those on that alone. Yes,
yeah.
we don't even mention our SRP. Until
Hmm.
we're well into production. We're happy to say, hey, coming soon. As my chair falls out from
Right.
under me, we're happy to say coming soon. But we elaborate as we get a little further down the production line. As we've said
Yeah.
before, our thing always is when we open up an interest list, uh, that it's just your electronic hand in the air, and you get first right of refusal as we head into a soft reserve. Um,
Mhm.
we're so far into production, stuff is paid for at that point. It's happening.
Right.
So that's why we've never really done the vaporware thing. If we say it's
Right.
coming, it's going to happen. And then the only thing we ever did wave a banner on that we I mean, it happened. They were just destroyed. We wanted to do the 66 bat shield, and
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it
you
was one of
told
the
me
first
about that.
things. Yeah, it was one of the first things we ever. What a lot of people don't realize is we just pulled it. I've told different stories about samples coming in with bits of ham sandwich on them, where the factory was using them as a dinner tray, and that sort of thing. But ultimately, that acrylic, if you look at it, it scuffs. We talked about that, and
Yeah.
just not too long ago, how hard it is to keep just the slightest hairline scuffs off of acrylic. And I just didn't want our first item being one of those things where we were like, hey, that's the way it is when you work with acrylic. That's why nobody's ever licensed these before. And it just sounds like you're making excuses. So, no, we'd spent the money on those and destroyed them all.
Yeah,
And
it's unfortunate.
rather than the market get them, I mean, I've got the one in the office, the prototype, but
Yeah.
that was it. So that's really the only thing. So the way you avoid vaporware is keep your mouth shut until something's through a given level of production, and then you could start chatting about it a little bit, and that you manage expectations. So
Well,
yes, you're
yeah. Well, I'm very excited for the stuff that's to come. I didn't know if there was a time limit on the show. I know we're coming up on an hour, so
yeah. We could start wrap. We could start
it's
wrapping
up.
if you want to hit us with some quick ones on the way out. But we did find out we went long last week and it seemed to work just fine.
Oh,
So
okay,
if
okay.
we got to, we could cut it. I mean, if you got to bounce, I mean,
I don't
but
have to bounce. I didn't want to,
well, okay.
keep you guys too long if
No,
you
no, no.
have to. Yeah.
I mean, Sean's like, oh hell, I'm not getting home till 6 o'clock. But,
Well,
no,
I sent Sean a lot of stuff earlier.
right.
I know he can't show it all, but if there's anything that whet your appetite when you were going through the pictures that you want me to talk about, you're welcome to put them up, or you can put them up after the show, and then I can always
Yeah,
come
yeah.
back again and talk. But if there's
No,
something there that you,
he's probably running the pictures right now while you're talking. So you're narrating as we go. Sean, do you have any questions about any of those pieces that you need just context on?
Man, he's got a lot of cool stuff which I've seen before.
Yeah, there's
I mean, where do we even begin? Do we want to talk about his real DeLorean that he's going to convert into the Back to the Future
oh
DeLorean?
God, I'm not converting it. I'm not
No.
converting it.
you leave
I'm
it alone.
keeping that.
Hey, let me share my screen real quick, and we can just do
Okay.
a rapid fire. I'll kind of go through some quick picks.
Okay, yeah. If you guys
Some
have
more
any, if anything's is so, just to preface, this is like a very, it's probably, I don't know, less than 1% of the collection. So
Now you're just bragging. Come
no,
on.
I
Are you
mean, but
sure?
here's the thing: my interests are extremely diverse.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm interested in a ton of different IPs. And then on top of that, I collect a lot of different kinds of things, everything from 1/6 scale figures to statues to props, studio models. And so it's kind of a mix. So I tried to pick some interesting things and that things that I thought maybe you guys would like or be interested in. And then I can answer questions about,
Okay.
how,
Yeah.
where it comes from, how it's done.
Okay. Sean can share a screen then, and Amy, chime in too if you see any stuff. You've been quiet today.
Can you guys see all
I'm just
that?
impressed. That's so awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was a model based on it was, I think originally it was sold under the Sith Planet um title. That was a company that was making garage kits. They were called Sith Planet. Then I think they were bought by Corbanth was doing them. Anyway, but the model is about 38 inches long. That is custom built with fiber optic lighting. And then the base is custom. It's the surface of the Death Star. And then all four of those Star Destroyers are in scale. And they are all custom 3D printed and lit. And this was done by a model maker in Germany named Daniel. And it's just fantastic. Yeah.
Huh. It's locking up on me for some reason. It's not sharing that.
There we go.
Okay.
There.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. Here's the DeLorean we were talking about.
Yeah. So there's my baby.
Nice.
That is
And
Jeez,
so
when did you get the DeLorean?
I bought that in 2012.
Okay.
There's a funny story behind it. So just before I bought it, I was dating this girl, and she was a bit younger than me, and we took a trip to Las Vegas together, and we were in the old like downtown area, and they had a DeLorean up on a platform, like up in the air, and I pointed it out, and I was like, That's my dream car right there." And she's like, "That's your dream car?" She goes, "That looks like a piece of, you know." And anyway, needless to say, we broke up about a month later. And then I said, "You know what? I'm going to buy that piece of." So I
Super
put
cool.
out the word to all the DeLorean dealers in the country. There's still 5 of them around the United States that will deal in, resale of these. And I kind of told everybody what I wanted. And then about 3 months later, I got a call from the dealership in Florida. They said, we have exactly what you wanted, because there were a couple of different models, and then the interiors, there was like black leather, gray leather, automatic, manual. And they said they were like, "We have exactly what you want, and this is the best condition driven DeLorean we've ever had come through our shop." They're like, "We'll even give you a 1 year 12,000 mile warranty on the car, and it's 40
Wow.
years old." So
Nice.
I bought it. They shipped it to me here, and I love it. It's my baby.
So were
Wonderful.
these? So did you make this to go in the DeLorean? This
No,
panel?
so this was made by a company. This is a company in France that produces these. The time circuits they're made to go into a DeLorean. So the back end is made to fit on the console, and it has a 12-volt. You can connect it directly to the car battery to power it.
Okay.
But all the electronics, it works exactly like it does in the film. Like, I don't know if some people don't ever notice this, but when Doc is showing Marty how it works and he's punching in dates on the keypad, he's not actually punching in the dates. Like when he says, "If you want to witness the Declaration of Independence," he doesn't punch in July 4th, 1776. He just punches in 1776, and then it pops up the date. And so this, you can punch in dates, but you can also go into movie mode where you can just put in like, 1225, and it shows the birth of Christ, to December 25th, to, zero,
Wow.
zero, zero, zero. And it makes all the sounds, and then you can hit a button and it'll go through the process of like the time jump, and then it'll reset the numbers, so it'll shift all the numbers up. It works just like in the film. It's an amazing prop.
That's
Cool,
That's
cool.
cool.
awesome.
Cool.
Now,
All right,
now this
let's get.
picture's. Oh, I was gonna
Wait, wait,
say.
wait, wait, wait.
Go ahead.
Hold up. I got to cover some ground here, bro, because we are running long. So I
Okay.
know what
Okay.
you're going to try to get into, Sean. But keep scrolling because I
All
saw
right.
some.
I'm just gonna skip through some, but this one you'll be appreciative of.
Yep. Love that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, so that's my NASA display. I just finally got all that curated, but some great pieces there. That's a 1/72nd Dragon. That was a model produced by Dragon Models of the Saturn V. It's 5 feet tall. And then those 2 statues are Blitzway statues, 1/4 scale. And then in the cabinets, I have a whole mishmash of different things, like from Luna replicas, the plaque they left on the moon. I actually have a piece of film in the cabinet there. You can't see it in the picture. On the bottom shelf on the left next to the plaque. It's a piece of film from Neil Armstrong's camera that went to the moon and back.
What?
It's crazy. It's the leader
What?
strip. It's the leader. So back in the day when you would load film into a camera, you have the leader strip that you pull in there and wind. So it doesn't have any emulsion on it or whatever for the film. So it's just a clear piece of film, but it's a 70 millimeter piece of film. So when they came back from the moon, the NASA's technical division, when they developed all those pictures, the head of their technical division, Richard Underwood, cut those pieces off, and he knew they were going to be valuable because anything that went to the moon and came back is, I mean, it's a big deal. So he took those strips, he cut them, mounted them on little cards, wrote about them, signed his name to them, and then gave them as gifts to the astronauts. And that's one of the pieces of film that's in there. And there's a picture there signed by Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins, and there's all kinds of stuff in there. And I don't have them in the pictures, but I just got 2 incredible pieces from Ryan Nagata. I got a replica of the glove of Neil Armstrong's glove, and a replica of the Leva helmet with the gold, you know, the gold film on the front and the whole thing. I mean, just beautiful. For those of you who don't know Ryan, he does these replicas and it's just so talented. He did them for that movie Fly Me to the Moon with Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum. He did all of the costumes for that film.
That was a great dude.
So, yeah.
You got a little.
I was going to say, was
am I
it still Armstrong's harp?
So that is Spock's harp from the original series. That was a collaboration project with multiple people. A friend who actually cut the plywood, made kind of the structure of it, and then I sourced the walnut veneer to apply to the surface. And then I have a friend who lives here who's an amazing woodworker, and he did all the staining. And then I strung it. I have to restring it. Most people don't know this, but the original harp, the strings on it were colored. You can't tell, but Hua Chang dyed the strings. But they're so thin that you can't really see it on the in the episode. So I used colored guitar strings, but they ended up being so thick now it just looks like this rainbow thing. So I'm gonna actually remove them and restring it with just regular like nylon and wire string.
It looks good though.
Thanks. Yeah, I really
Yes.
love it. It's a beautiful piece. And I had the opportunity a year and a half ago to see the real one at the Greg Jane auction.
I was just about to bring that up because
Yeah.
I don't remember it being strung at the auction because I don't remember there being any color in it at all.
There was no there I don't know if the strings on there were the original. There were strings on there because Greg tried to restore it, but the area behind the strings had not been stripped. The paint had not been stripped. But since it had been painted between after it was used in Star Trek, they probably removed the strings, painted it, and then strung it with something else.
That makes
But I
sense.
have a great Amy. I'll send you a great picture. I have a close-up picture where from a screen cap from one of the episodes where you can see the colored strings.
Oh, cool. Yes,
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
So what we'll do, we're gonna wrap it up because
okay.
we'll show some of the rest of these just in closing
Okay.
to get out, and we'll do a part 2 one day where you can
Oh yeah.
be in your room, and that's what I want you in the room showing.
I know. I sent Sean a picture of the room. There's a big panoramic picture. So
Yeah, I'll throw that up at the end. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
I
yeah,
think
you'll
people,
see
I
it.
think people, I
It's
think people
it's
really like.
still a mess. I'm working on curating it, but I started with the NASA section. I did that. Now I'm on to the Marvel section. I'm doing that, and then I'll work my way around.
Did I see a little fallen astronaut in your case there?
A what?
I forget the I forget the artist's name. It's Paul Van. I couldn't pronounce his last name, but it's the fallen astronaut. It's a sculpture of a little. Everybody Google it if you don't know about it. But essentially, one was left on the moon. I wanted to do them.
Oh, that metal one, the aluminum one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull up a picture of it. So, yeah, you guys aren't really going to be able to see this, I don't think, but they left one on the moon, kind of a bit of a
mankind was here thing. Yeah.
Yes, but the artist, a Belgian,
Paul
Paul,
von Hoey-Junk.
that's it. He was actually commissioned to make that, and one sits on the moon now. And I always thought it was a unique piece of memorabilia that not a lot of people, a lot of enthusiasts don't know about.
I don't have that, but I will tell you what I am waiting to put in that display or lean up next to the display is that golf club.
Oh yes, there we go. What a wonderful
you guys are
way
making.
to close us
Yeah.
out. That is great. So this came up in conversation just the other day. We had taken this. It's been in front of a couple different manufacturers. This is a case of. It reminds me very much of the Hunter Seeker, in as much that just the quality of the work that this demands. I don't want to half-ass it. That's one of my favorite pieces. Sean, we'll put the little video of it actually being pulled together and a couple of our prototype shots up of it. So yes, that got switched over to a local machine shop. Actually, it's on its second now, and I just got my fresh set of quotes on that.
Oh,
So we'll be
good.
making that. That actually, thank goodness, will be made in the U.S. And we are very much moving forward on that right now.
That's awesome.
So,
I'm
so
very
yeah,
excited for that. Yeah. There's
yeah,
so
that's
many other pieces that need to go in that. I have the boot print that Master Replicas Group made, several years ago before they went under. And I
yeah.
found that actual film canister from the Apollo 11 missions, which is really cool. Anyway, there's going to be a lot more stuff to update you guys on.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those, I love anything to do with that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because we haven't talked about that in a minute. But yeah,
Yeah.
very much. You guys will see that. Maybe even by the, you know what? I'll shy away. I'll shy away from giving an estimate on that. But I'm particularly excited about that one. But I would say that'll be in your collection very soon.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
But yeah, anybody got anything else? I'm just going to say thank you and shut up if Sean doesn't have anything else. Jared, Amy.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you
saw,
so much
I saw
for
some other
joining us.
cool enterprises in there that
I know we're gonna
Oh.
have to talk
Oh
some
yeah,
more.
we'll have to do it again.
So
Oh yeah, in fact, the next time I'm on the show, if there's a next time, if you guys like me enough,
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
I'm just wrapping up a project with Bill Kraus. I can I don't I mean it's public, so he
he's
posts stuff
legit. I
on.
mean, he
Yeah.
designed the Enterprise G, so
So we are doing a replica of the original series Enterprise based
Oh,
on the Smithsonian restoration that was completed
Oh,
a
wow.
few years ago.
is that the one
So
he's
it is
working on now? He's been
that's the one
sharing.
he's working on right now that
Okay.
he's been sharing. And the beauty is that we were able to get Bill George, who worked on the restoration, and Gary Kerr, who consulted on the restoration. I mean, everyone was on board. How even Matt Cushman, who did the cutaways, the original cutaways.
Oh,
Everyone's been consulting on this project, and it is going to be. It's kind of like the end all be all
nice.
enterprise. And in classic Bill Kraus, every single window you look in, you can
Yep.
see inside the ship. I mean, it's just it's insanity. Yeah.
He does this cool trick where he does little film
Yep.
cells, and he
The
puts them
transparencies.
the transparencies and behind the window, and they're lined up so the perspective works when you look in. It looks
Really?
in a room.
And they're separate. They're pulled back from the window, so there's parallax as you move. You can see, that it looks like there's depth inside, so it looks like an actual room. It's crazy.
Bill is fantastic with.
Yeah, let's come back and revisit that because that is particularly
Okay.
cool.
Okay, yeah,
I
for sure.
I think that'll be something. So during this whole thing, I'm just going to have there's going to be undoubtedly once this thing gets put together, we'll just run pictures through a great deal of us talking. This will be more like a podcast as much as more audio than not. But yeah, I think we got enough pictures, Sean. We'll just run throughout.
Yeah.
It's appropriate just to babble.
Okay.
But yeah, man. Again, so great to see you. And
Great to be here. It was
and I know
great
you're
to join
busy.
you guys.
I know you're busy, Dr. Joseph, and it's always good to have you around, my friend. And yeah, let's talk soon. And I have a Star Trek thing for you that we'll talk about in the next day or two. Something.
Oh boy.
You know what I'm talking about. I've been.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
I got you.
It's the thing that I remind you of every time we talk on the phone.
I got you. I got what you need.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that. But yeah, man, always a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much. I know your time's so valuable, and it's not lost on me. So thanks for making the effort to be on. And other than that, have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk soon. I'll call you in the next few days.
Okay,
all right.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Great to see you,
Thank
Joseph.
you.
Guys.
It's great to see all of you again.
See ya.